Alright, so it's raining today, which means that I will be doing minimal work outside and definitely not be doing any welding. What I do intend on doing is start dismantling this fender on this side of the truck, just so I have access to all the little areas that I need for repair. Primarily, I'll recondition the fender, make sure I clean up everything and get it all looking good, and see if there's any spots inside that need to be addressed. But that'll also give me direct access to this firewall on the inside of the fender here. So I need to start cleaning up this area, looking for rust outs like that one, repair that section that I cut out, get it all nice and clean. I'll have to use some kind of penetrating lubricant to kind of loosen up those two nuts right there. And because I definitely don't want the same thing happening that happened the last time on the other side where I sheared off the nut. So I'll be spraying penetrating lubricant in there and then hit it up with a torch this time. I thought I was doing it. I didn't need the torch, but obviously I did need it. So I'll have to figure out what to do about this later. But in the meantime, I have this holding it in place and the rest of the bolts holding it in place. So it's not reliant on just that one. So that's one thing that needs to be done today. But the main thing that needs to be addressed are these two corners. And I want to get as much done as well as these bottoms of these doors here. So since I won't be doing any welding today, unless it miraculously dries up and, because right now it's like 100% humidity, I do not want that touching any of the welds or any of the raw steel that I have. So what I will do is I will fabricate drop-in replacements for these corners, and I'll do that inside the garage, as well as have this all cut up and ready to go. Whoever did this prior, you can see how terrible that is. This was their fix for it. They sprayed in this foam, right? I guess let's try to get that up. Just, you know what I mean? It's sprayed in foam, just like what you put on like foundations or like windows or things like that to try to seal it up. So it's like a expanding foam sealant. That's their way of solving it. Obviously, water got in because these gaskets eventually go. And water gets in there and rusts out, and then the water went down there and then ate through the bottom of the door. So I need to address all of that, but definitely we'll create these corner pieces. And I went on to, there's various websites where you can buy direct replacements for these corners or any of the body panels. These particular corners on each of these trucks, on each of these sides here, they're about like 200 and, depending on where you shop, we're talking between 225 to 250 bucks a corner. Sometimes you can see them as low as 200. So I went to Euro Truck Importers, which is a phenomenal website and great guys, and I've purchased from them before on my previous G-wagon. And so on their website, they have these in stock. Well, actually, they have to order it from Germany. I think it takes like a week, but so they have them. I can order them. But I think they were like 230 bucks or something a pop. And then on top of that, just this little 90-degree bend. It's not even 90 degrees, it's like a little bit over, like 120-degree bend. So that little piece of sheet metal, those were like 38 bucks or something, in the upper 30s. So you're talking about almost $300 for each section. So that's $600 that I could be putting somewhere else in the truck, that can go into other things, modifications and things like that. So that will cover the paint, for the truck. So definitely won't be doing that. I bought the sheet metal from Lowe's for like 30 something bucks. So I've been using that, two sheets of it. So I still have a bunch left, and I will just fabricate my own corner pieces because that is way too much money to be paying for that. So that's the plan for today. Hopefully I get majority of it done, and it'll dry up tomorrow supposedly, and then I'll be able to just weld those in place, cover it up, and those corners will be done. Look at that. That's how you get rust. So this is going to have to be reconditioned and covered up in a coating because you got exposed metal here, so that's just going to rust. So I have to figure out a way, maybe I'll put silicone in there or something and try to seal it up. Can someone tell me how that happened? A spider actually created a little egg sac inside there. That's incredible. Like, this was actually plugged in there. I don't even know how a spider got inside there from the back somehow. Yeah. That's what happens when your truck sits for that long. I've been killing spiders the entire time I've been here. Alright, so taking off this fender took a lot longer than it really should have. I was being cautious with making sure that I didn't break that bolt. So what I'm going to do now is I'm only here for like about an hour longer, so I'm going to prep the surfaces on both of these fenders. I'm gonna clean up. You know, this one there seems to be some bubbling up and stuff, so I'm gonna start digging into this and figuring out what's good, what's bad, and what needs to be replaced. And then this one's the one that I completed before, and there's a little bit of surface rusting, and inside the welds I see there's some oxidation and stuff. It's not, I coated it with fast edge, so it looks like it's black inside there, so it's not necessarily, I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna grind everything down, and then tomorrow I'll hit it up with fiberglass on top of that, and just make sure everything's smoother than body sealer. So tomorrow I'll prep these, and then I have all my panels cut, and well, I didn't cut this one yet, but most of the panels are cut for the taillights. So then tomorrow, you know, I'll let the car dry overnight, and tomorrow I'll put in those as well. So hopefully all the corners, 4 corners of the car will be done tomorrow during the day. I've been working on the fender that I previously repaired for probably the last hour and a half, and I was just trying to get out all the surface rust and any kind of, you know, clean out any of the little crevices and things like that, and grind it all down. But as I was doing so, I don't know if you could see this, there's like sheets of paint. So whoever, this fender has been through a lot. Like, you know, if it was Bondo in it, fiberglass on it, holes in it, and apparently a bunch of resprays on it. So whoever did the last respray on it did a terrible job prepping the truck. And so as I was sitting here, I was literally just peeling off whole sheets of paint off of it. So I ground it all down. Like, here we go. Look at this. See that? So whoever did this prep job didn't do it actually. They just sprayed the truck with another layer of paint, but they didn't prep it because this stuff's just peeling right off. So what I'm going to do now is continue sanding all this down and try to get rid of that crappy paint, and then cover the thing in fiberglass, short strand fiberglass, at least where all my welds were. You know, sand those down, and then sand the whole thing down again, put Bondo on it, sand it down, and spray it all with my own primer, because, you know, that was, you know, you could probably just buy another fender, but like I said, these things are like, I don't know, maybe $900 or something. So definitely don't want to buy a new fender. But yeah, so I'm just going to finish repairing it, and then that'll be ready to put back on the truck. This one I still have to just plug these 3 little holes up with some weld, and then patch that in. And then this one's in much better shape. This is a newer fender, so he replaced one and didn't replace the other one, and just kept, you know, jury rigging this thing together. So I'm gonna have to weld in sections here, you know, just to get this back in order and put it back on the truck. This fender is patched up. So I put in the patch here where the marker light was, and then I patched in these little holes. Right, so they're all done. Now it's just a matter of grinding down any of the. You can see there's some bubbling here. So I just got to grind down all this bubbling paint and get down to bare metal, clean it all up, hit it with the 80 grit palm sander, and that thing is ready for fiberglass and primer and done. This one was the worst of the two, and this one required a lot of patches. Right, so I basically restored this whole thing, cut out every bit of rotting metal on it, and put in just literally probably over a dozen patches on this thing. Some huge ones too, like this whole bottom section I had to fabricate. So now it's just a matter of getting about, I don't know, like a centimeter or so of sheet metal, just, you know, patch this all up, whittle that in place. And this one's also ready to be ground down and put glass where it needs to be, and body filler and paint or primer. I've been grinding away at this thing. There was a lot of bubbling and rusting inside there, so I grounded most of it down and applied fast etch to it. So hopefully that neutralizes whatever was forming there. It's taking a lot longer than I anticipated, so I don't think I'm going to get to the corners today. What I will do is finish up cleaning this all up and then applying fiberglass and where it's needed, and then etching primer to like this area, stuff that doesn't need fiberglass or Bondo. I'll apply the etching primer directly to that and just do a couple coats like that, and then prime this entire thing. So I've been sanding it down and treating the rust. So hopefully, you know, it'll take another 37 years for it to start, you know, showing signs of rust again. We'll see. Inside, I still got to do the inside of it. Same thing with this one. This one's a little bit more work, but I'll treat it all, you know, clean it all off, and then apply. Here's all my welds. I fixed the whole top of it, so that's just going to require. That's going to require some short strand fiberglass to that.